Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? Hello, how are you everyone? We're right back here in the seminar of freedom of the press and freedom of speech in Germany, and we have a very interesting input from one of the professionals that is right on the field. She is a journalist. She is the head of the Cologne section of the Federation of German
Journalists.
of the journalists. Yes, sorry if I didn't get it correctly. So her name is Kuminan Brumel. Yeah, I said it correctly. So thank you very much for being with us. Could you explain to us what has been your experience, your professional experience, and what do you work on?
I myself am a freelance journalist. I write about media and journalism mainly, and I work as a volunteer for the German Federation of Journalists.
So, in your experience, do you think that the challenges that Germany right now faces for freedom of expression can be achieved in a way through this federation that you have?
Well, the Federation plays an important role for speaking for free journalism. But of course our power is limited too. So we are not the ones who make the playing fields, we are just acting on it.
Yes, for countries like Latin America, it's very hard to find examples like the one you have in Germany, where actually the same journalists take the responsibility of establishing an ethics code and a scale of principles on how to do journalism. And for this reason, we are like trying to, implement something similar. So could you resume for the people that are watching, what is this code, like some sections of the code?
Yeah. The code is ethical guideline. It shows how journalists should work concerning being truthful, being careful, respecting the people they're reporting about, not taking favors, not mixing the content of journalistic things and editorials, not talking bad about religion, philosophy, not discriminating minorities, things like that.
Okay, so could you explain us a little bit how the media in Germany becomes like from more relevant to less relevant? Newspapers, radio?
Yeah, we used to have a very good system in Germany, and actually still it's quite well. But of course the internet changes the whole system compared to the years earlier. We have less people reading the papers. The number of newspapers, daily papers, is shrinking. We have a trend to lighter journalism, yellow press, tabloid-style journalism. I mean, there's still a good program on TV, there's still good papers, but people are not willing to spend as much time thinking as they used to.
Why do you think this is? Because for us in Latin America, we always blame the fact that people don't read papers to the fact that we also lack a lot of education in our countries, a lot of illiteracy rates. But here in Germany, public education, so why do you think this is going on?
Well, I think it's easier to consume easy news than to really listen to a program that tries to explain the background on, let's say, something like the euro, why it has to be saved, why it's not easy just to go out and say, well, then we don't have a euro. So it's a very complicated matter, and people are less willing than they used to be to listen to complicated things. They are less willing to look at areas they weren't interested in by themselves. You know, if you open a newspaper, there are all these different resources, and so you get to see everything. Even if you're not interested in sports, at least you get a hint that maybe there's an important game, important soccer game. But if you read only on the internet only the things you really like, maybe you don't even notice.
Yeah,
things.
you're like enclosing yourself in one section of the internet.
Yeah.
You mentioned something very interesting about the background, and we were talking during the conference of the differences between a 25-year-old journalist that everything that he sees, a new law, a new reform for him is so refreshing. So what advice would you give to people that are young people interested in becoming journalists, facing these challenges that we're talking about, how internet, you know, is harming even the language and the good spelling of it, all the way through how to make a good background of a story when you are a young person?
Well, actually, I would think that the best way is to have to go to study another subject like a social science or natural science or politics or economy or whatever. So you're really firm on one theme.
Yes.
And then additional you start the education for journalists. So afterwards you're an educated journalist, but you have one area where you're really a specialist, and this would be the best to start the job.
I want to share something with you. I completely agree with you, and I relate with you because in my country, a lot of people want to be a radio talk show host or in TV, and they always call me like, Gloria, what should I study if I want to do this? And we have the bachelors in communications, where they teach you, you know, how to speak, how to breathe, but nothing about economics, philosophy, arts, culture. So I always advise to them, grab a career, either whatever you want, but have some message to give. That's the important thing, not only getting in TV. Thank you.
We have that too, and we call it that young people want to do something about media. They don't really know what it is. They don't know what it means to work as a journalist, and also a talk show guest is a journalist if she does her job well. And they just see people acting on the TV, and I think that would be cool.
Yes. Well, thank you, Miss Brum, for this amazing interview. Amigos, we will be right back with you with more interviews here from Germany in the Gummersbach beautiful town, while we are having this seminar on liberty and, of course, freedom of press.
Thank you.
No, don't come on. At 8 the bus will go.
Okay.
Bienvenidos de vuelta, amigos. Seguimos con más entrevistas. Welcome back, my friends. We continue to be here in the seminar of liberty of press and, of course, liberty of expression here in Gummersbach, Germany. Right now, my friend Aisuluu from Kyrgyzstan is going to talk a little bit to us about what's the situation of freedom of the press in her country and, of course, what is your job. So please, Aisuluu, talk to us about what you do in your country and, of course, what's the situation, according to you, of the freedom of press.
Okay, my name is Aisuluu and I work as a communication manager for Aga Foundation, which is a donor organization. And I would like to tell you about our situation of freedom of information, freedom of press in Kyrgyzstan, because in Kyrgyzstan it's actually it's more or less we are more liberal country comparing to Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, or Russia.
Your
even.
neighboring countries.
Yes, so
Okay.
we have free media, we have freedom of information, but our access to information is very limited because our information is given only by TV, and all of the TV companies, all of the TV channels are governmental, and there are just only few private TV channels, but there's a competition between them, of course, but the competition is not that high, so we cannot compare the information, and it's very hard to get very truthful information because all the channels are governmental, as I said, and because they are founded by the government, and all the journalists depend on the governmental officials.
Yeah, we've been talking in these seminars about some similarities that I have found actually with Guatemala and Kyrgyzstan. You would think, oh my God, we're so far away, but actually Latin America behaves in very similar ways to some countries that we see here. What do you think are the challenges for your country to achieve a most responsible freedom of press?
So comparing to Guatemala, we don't listen to radio so often as you, but we watch TVs, and our they are using mobile phones, applications, digital applications, because our youth is more advanced now in these digital technologies, but unfortunately, in rural areas of Kyrgyzstan, youth are not able to use these mobile applications. Even though they are using these mobile applications, they don't know anything about I don't know, New York Times. They are only using like particular maybe our local websites, you know. So in order to get to know each other, to chat and etc. So then the information is not advanced. They have a lot of opportunities, you know. That's it.
Thank you so much, Aisuluu, for being with us. We'll be right back with you guys with more interviews, more countries, and trying to find out what's the situation globally of freedom of press. Thank you. Bienvenidos de vuelta, amigos. Seguimos entrevistando a más personas aquí en este seminario en Alemania. Welcome back, my friends. We're still here in the seminar of freedom of expression and freedom of press. Right now, I'm with my dearest friend, Yuliya. She is originally from the country of Ukraine. So, thank you so much, Yuliya, for being with us here. Can you please tell the Latin American audience what do you do in your country, and of course, what do you think, in your perspective, is the situation of the freedom of expression and freedom of the press?
Hello everybody. Well, actually the situation of the press in our country became worse compared with 2012. Everybody connected it with parliamentary elections. But so what happened with with the freedom of the press? All our channels, TV, are controlled by the government. Or owned by the people who are loyal to the government, who have a relationship with the government. So in such ways they look I forgot this word.
It's okay, it's okay. Remember your last idea. and we can edit and then paste,
Yes.
so it's okay. You were talking about the government controls TV and the government controls radio. What about the internet situation?
Oh, actually, the situation with the internet is much better because only from the internet we can read the true information. We can read what happened in reality life. There are no censorship compared with TV or the press media. So we have such Facebook, blogs, and there we can express our mind.
Are people expressing political anguish in this social media?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think are the challenges for Ukraine, like to achieve better freedom of press? What do you think are like the measures that you have to accomplish?
Oh, actually, first of all, we need to improve our laws. Because we have much laws for freedom of the press, but they have much collisions among them. Because one laws accept another laws, one laws allows
Something that the other one prohibits.
yeah. And when we begin to read this law, we can see that we don't have access to information. We don't allow actually. And first of all, we need to improve this. The second, I think, also political situation, because without good political situation, we can't to achieve the total freedom of the press. Because we need to change our government, I think, but it's very hard to do, because first of all, it's a corruption, it's a censorship, and because of they controlled everything, people from the region, they look TV, they watch TV, and they don't know what happened in reality life. They believe them. Only people who from the big city, they know the truth, they want to improve something. But the Ukraine actually is a very big country, and it's very hard to collect them together and to put in their minds, oh people, where we live in, we need to change something. And actually this is two problems.
Thank you so much, Yuliya, for being with us and telling us all the stories about the Ukraine. We will be right back with you, amigos. We will have more stories of different countries and, of course, the situation of the freedom of the press. Welcome back, friends. We are here with Jessica. She's from the Philippines, and she's going to talk a little bit to us so that we can understand in Latin America what's the situation of the freedom of the press in Philippines. So welcome, Jessica, and thank you so much for being here with us. Could you please tell the audience what's your name and what are you doing in your country?
Yes, I'm Jessica Reyes Cantos. I am president of an NGO, that's a non-government organization called Action for Economic Reforms. I do research and writing, but we are pushing for the freedom of information legislation to be passed in the Philippines. The situation with regard to the press, we have relative press freedom compared to the other Southeast Asian countries. But where there's freedom, there are still a lot of risks for journalists. Mm-hmm. Those who openly criticize politicians that are working outside Metro Manila, which is our capital, they are always in danger of being killed. Those who expose corruption, bad politics, and all that. I don't know if you've heard of the so-called Maguindanao massacre, wherein about 50, almost more than 50 journalists, all in one day were killed. Wow. Because they were in Mindanao and they were covering political exercise. It was related to the elections, and all of them were killed, and the perpetrators tried to cover it up by, I think even the vehicles where they were killed in, they dug up a hole called a backhoe, They dug up a big hole on the earth, and then they were trying to push the vehicles with all the dead bodies there. But somebody discovered it, and it's a case now. But no, those who are suspected of guilty are in jail, but the trial has started, but it hasn't been resolved.
Could you give us a picture of this new legislation that you are working so hard to pass?
Yes.
What's the differences, or why do you think that this is going to be an effective solution?
For what they call maturing democracies, I think it's important for citizens to have access to information. And the right to information has been enshrined in our Constitution. It's part of our 1987 Constitution. And we try to invoke it, but our Supreme Court says that our Constitution is not self-executing. We need to have an enabling law. So it has to pass through Congress. The problem is people who in government are basically afraid of divulging the information that they have because corruption is everywhere.
Yes.
And if there's corruption everywhere, you try to hide it by not divulging. And so we have actually worked with several congressmen who are champions. We call champions of freedom of information, but they are too few. And most of the congressmen and the senators, they have relatives who are governors, mayors. I mean, they would be exposing not just their own wrongdoings, but also their own relatives' wrongdoings. And most of the time when you talk about Philippine politics, there are just a few families that control certain provinces, and so you talk about Cebu. There's and immediately Garcia. The last name Garcia would be a big political clan that would be controlling Garcia, Osmeña. That's it. When you talk about Quez, a place called Aurora. It's a province. You talk about Angaras. They have senators, congressmen. Mayor, I mean, the freedom of information legislation is important not just for exposing corruption. It's important for people to intelligently get the information and participate in development debates. Not just for budgeting and money purposes, but hey, I'd like to look at the investment and procurement plan. I'd like to look at what I would like to participate in the visioning exercise as to how we want our town to develop. And if you don't get the right information at the right time, then even if you get invited, I mean, what am I doing here? They don't give you the basic details as to how you can intelligently participate in the first place. So we think that, well, the problem now is that it's only the press, well, not only the press, but mainly the people who are raising a lot of noise about the need for freedom of information are coming from the media. Our president is saying our people must be the one to also ask for it. Because the media, I mean, the media can actually get the information if they want to, even if there's no freedom of information. I mean, they can be really creative. But the campaign has to be owned by our people. And I think the nice thing about, let's say, India, which already has a right to information legislation, is that the people really worked for it, and they own it.
Yeah.
And I think that it's something that we, as a people, have to own ourselves. I mean, as our own congressman, are you for it or not? How come you're not? And so questioning them so that they are drawn into the debate, and then the congressman is saying that I have to support this, otherwise I won't get the vote of these people.
Yes.
So yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you so much, Jessica, for being with us. We'll
My
be
pleasure.
right back with more interviews, so please stay in tune. Welcome back, my friends. Right now, I'm with a very special friend, and his country, the country that he represents, is a country that is crucial for Latin America, for Europe. A lot of political theorists are saying that this is the country that is going to be the 21st century lead for the rest of us. So let me welcome to all of you. This here is Chen, and he is from China, Beijing, actually, right?
Yeah. Okay. Hello,
So,
everyone.
welcome, Chen, and thank you so much for being in this interview with us. Could you please introduce yourself and talk a little bit about the work that you have been doing in your country?
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Chen from China, and I work for an institute. Its name is Transition Institute. And our target is to research liberal democracy transition of China.
So, please, Chen, we have heard a lot about how in China the economic freedom has been expanding in the last 20 years, but not so much the social freedom, like the freedom for you, to search for information in the internet or television and radio. Could you please explain us more about how is it this control and how is the freedom of the press being menaced by it?
Okay. In China, the Chinese government control almost all the media, TV stations, radio stations, newspapers, magazines, even the internet. Okay, sorry, let me think. Sorry.
It's okay. We can edit.
Yeah, edit it.
So, internet.
Internet, yeah. Because I'm interested in internet, so I will explain how the government control internet.
Please do.
More, yeah. There is an electronic project called Great Firewall, built by Chinese government. It can with Great Firewall, the government blocks so many websites overseas, such as Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, sometimes Google, sometimes Wikipedia, and then China has its own social websites, or every website overseas has a Chinese clone. Twitter has a Chinese clone. Facebook has a Chinese clone. And the government can control all the companies in China. I will give some examples about the internet control. In China, when you want to surf internet. In an internet bar, you have to show your ID card to the owner. If you don't, you cannot turn on the computer. And once you register register with your ID card, and when you research some words such as human rights, democracy, liberty, Tibetan, or Tiananmen Square. The policies will even catch you soon, because the log your search and your publishing will be fined by the policies, because they monitor the internet content 24/7. And I will give an example of my colleague. This July, our institute launched an essay competition about liberal society, and one of my colleagues sent an announcement about it with a Chinese microblog platform, and after then the policies catch him from his house, because when the policies find the announcement and they can find which IP address this content is from, and they can find the real man behind the IP address.
Yes. So, do you think the situation, because this is what has always intrigued me about China, the economic freedom brings products, brings magazines, brings information from the outside world. And in the measure that you get more economic freedom, you get access to new information, new products, you start seeing that in other places there is more liberty, you know, there's more freedom of expression. What do you feel is the general perception of the young people like you? Do you think that they're going in like a matter of 10 years or 15 years start rising up to you know, like say, listen, I also want to have freedom of expression?
Young people like me, I think most of us, young people like me, our youth generation, we like internet mostly than. Like we prefer internet than TV, radio, newspaper, and I call these actions self-education, self-education, because even education in China is political propaganda, you know. The government control the education, and they give us wrong information about history. Because they want to announce the legality, you know, legality about for this government, and we have to surf internet with internet and search so many history information for self-education, and find the truth, and I think. When these young people becoming older and older, maybe China can be more liberal and democratic.
Yes.
I think.
Thank you so much, Chen, for being with us and sharing all this knowledge, especially when we know that it's a difficult situation in your country. So thank you for your courage, for your time, and for your amazing inputs.
Okay, you're welcome.
We'll be right back with more information, so stay tuned.
Bueno, ¿y cómo te ha ido entonces con todas las entrevistas que has estado haciendo, mi querida amiga? ¿Qué has hecho en todo este momento que se te dejó sola? Se te ha dejado el programa a ti sola. Y bueno, vamos a ver qué es lo que vas a hacer. Seguramente te van a contratar a ti. Yo no lo sé, pero vamos a arriesgarnos. ¿Cómo te ha ido?
Muchísimas gracias, primero que todo, Gerardo, por haberme dado la oportunidad, porque yo creo que lo que hemos aprendido haciendo estas entrevistas y platicando con todas estas personas, yo creo que te tomaría años y libros y horas de horas el poder tener pues una experiencia realmente global. Aquí habemos 26 personas representando 26 diferentes países, e incluso tenemos personas que vienen de países que fueron colonizados por otros países. Entonces también podemos entender, por ejemplo, cómo es que países que, al igual que Latinoamérica, fueron colonia de alguien más, también están pasando por las mismas crisis democráticas que nosotros estamos pasando, y sobre todo, pues, cómo esto afecta a la libertad de expresión. Vimos muchas diferencias, ¿no? Hay países donde el gobierno controla los medios de comunicación, hay países donde la sociedad se autocensura, existen países donde hay libertad económica, pero no hay libertad de prensa. Entonces, hemos visto una combinación de realmente un aspecto global, siento yo, de todo lo que puede pasar en la libertad de prensa y libertad de expresión. No es una cosa de negro o blanco, ¿no? Sino que en cada país hay diferentes negros y diferentes blancos que se van mezclando y van dando una situación muy única y muy especial. Pero como te digo, Gerardo, la verdad que me la pasé pero de lo bomba, te lo juro. Me la pasé muy bien, aprendí muchísimo, y espero que ustedes también, que nos están viendo, pues se inspiren para seguir entendiendo más cómo funciona el mundo, y sobre todo en Latinoamérica, que a veces nos olvidamos y creemos que solo nosotros somos los únicos, ¿sabes? Que sufrimos guerras, que sufrimos injusticias o corrupción. Yo creo que esto nos ayuda a entender que el mundo entero tiene problemas universales, y las soluciones también pueden ser universales.
Por supuesto, yo creo que sí, es una mejor comunicación, por supuesto, hace un mejor mundo. Más interactuante, más fortalecido, y por supuesto genera mejores expectativas también para todo el mundo en cuanto a la situación económica, situación cultural, educativa. Entonces, y todo esto son bases de un buen Estado. Creo que sí, es una muy buena, muy buen aprendizaje lo que nos han dado nuestros compañeros ahí de diferentes partes del mundo. Y la verdad, muchas gracias también a la institución que nos ha permitido estar aquí en Alemania.
A la academia, de arriba para abajo, con la cámara.
Entonces, de verdad, este tipo de de seminarios son excelentes para poder fortalecer el pensamiento libre, que es lo que necesitamos, es la
Por
libertad
supuesto.
solamente.
Yo ya te lo veníamos comentando, ¿no? Si las Naciones Unidas funcionara como hemos funcionado nosotros en estos 5 días, otra historia sería, ¿no?
Así es.
Bueno, pues, ¿qué te parece si nos tomamos entonces una cervecita
Bueno.
y los dejamos a ustedes en
Perfecto,
casa?
sí.
Cuídense
Ok.
muchísimo. Ha sido un gusto estar con ustedes y esperamos pues volver a estar contigo, Gerardo. Muchas gracias.
Ok. Pues audiencia, como siempre les digo, salve audiencia. Nos vemos entonces y por favor escríbanos, díganos los temas que también necesitan ustedes que se trate y le agradecemos mucho a Gloria Alvarez que haya estado con nosotros.
No, a ti,
Hoy
gracias.
les di un regalo, ¿eh? Es un regalo. Disfrútenlo. Salve audiencia.